Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to G Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert, May 10th, 2020. And yeah, I've been doing some drywalling today, and I had to hang the drywall because of its crimes. Uh, anyway, it said, let's get it done. So I did. I went to town this morning, and by the time I got through Home Depot with the lines and the how many people can go in at a time and stuff. Well, by the time I got back here with the 10 sheets of drywall and some mud and stuff like that, it was already noontime. So I had my lunch, and then I went out into the shop and I built myself a panel raising jig. And for the panel raising jig is this, because I looked at the price they wanted to rent one, and I'd have to drive 50 miles round trip, or a little more than 50 miles round trip, to pick it up and drop it back off again, which would already be an hour's worth of rental on it. And for 4 hours, I think it was like something like $40 or something like that. And I said, "What do you gotta be crazy? I'm not gonna spend $40 on that. I'm gonna come up with something else." So you remember I said my boss used to teach me and drove it into my head. Work with what you've got, not with what you wish you had. Well, I've got this little rolling scaffold I bought years and years ago when I had crews and we used to do drywall. One guy could stand on that, and the other guy could roll them around, and he could shoot the screws as he needed. Anyway, you're looking at these boards here with the T's on them. Those are crutches. And this is what I came up with. Okay, first of all, you see that piece of 2x3 up there? It's got one screw dead center in it, and that is to hold that board in place. I leave a 3/4 inch space between it and the actual ceiling, so there's extra room to work with. So I've got this one last sheet to put up here on the ceiling tomorrow, and I have to take this fan down to do that. So I just figured I'm going to call it a day today and get cleaned up, have some dinner. It's already like a little after 7. And I'll get this cleaned up, and I'll worry about it tomorrow. So that's where I started. That's how I hold the edge up there. So I've got my scaffolding here, and this side is lower than that side. So when I bring the panel in, I set it on this side and on that side, and it's on a slant already. So after I get it into there and I've got it measured and cut to size and exactly the way I want it, then I come around and I straddle this this board down here. So I got 1 foot on each side of it, and that puts me dead center in the panel, right where those screws run across right there. Okay, so now I can grab the panel and stand up and put my hands over my head, and I lift the panel on the same slant it was sitting on here, and I would go over the top of the 2x3 that would be fastened to the wall over there. Okay, once I got that in place, now let me not confuse you here, this crutch would actually be down like this. So the 2x3 would be above it. So once I got that side up there, then I can just turn around on my scaffold, and I take this crutch and I just bring it up like this, and I put it under the panel. Oh, harder to do one-handed. I put it under the panel like that, and then I kick the bottom into place to hold that nice and solid right there. So once that's kicked under there, whoop, it won't go anywhere. It's locked up solid. And I do have locks on these, wheel locks on these things, so this won't move. Okay, then I come over on this side, and remember, I'm going to be a little low because I left 3/4 between the 2x3 and the panel. So now I take this one, and I bring this one up, and I lock this one into place, like that. And I kick it a few times at the top, so it locks it down tight, and then I've got 2 crutches holding the panel in place, Now I can stand on the scaffold here. I have all my screws and my screw gun sitting right here, and I can screw 3 rows of screws on this thing and leaving just the 2 ends not done. But they're being held by crutches anyway. So then I come down, I get on my little 4-foot ladder. I have screws in the tray here, and I screw the end and the end, and it's in place. No problem. It's not as fast as a panel lift, but it's just as efficient. It doesn't make me work hard to do it. If I had a panel lift, I'd have to carry the panel in anyway and set it on the lift before I could raise it up. So I just carry it in and I set it on here. Now, when I'm standing beside this, this is just about eye level. So I come in with the panel and I get right underneath it and I just slide it forward onto here. No big deal. Pretty easy. So I've got the rest of the panels out there on the trailer. And all I have to do tomorrow is cut those up. And one thing I did forget was I was supposed to pick up a 5-pound box of 1.25-inch drywall screws. And darn it, I forgot. But I've got some 1 5/8 drywall screws there that go into a screw gun that they go on a tape feed. And all you do is go wah, 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 wah. You can't do that. Wah, wah, and you can just shoot screws like crazy. I don't need it for a small job like this. If I was going to be doing drywall all day long in a big house or something, yeah, then we use those. I've got 2 of those guns from when I used to do this stuff for a living. And a nice picture on the TV, huh? Stupid homemade antennas. They're not worth anything. You can see the antenna in my old videos. Anyway, tomorrow I'll get the last ceiling piece on, and then I'll start putting the wall pieces on. And from what I've counted, it looks like my estimates were exact for what I need. And I'll have this whole room drywalled, taped, and mudded with the first coat tomorrow. And maybe the next day I'll get the second coat of mud on. And then I'll bring my sanding machine. I'll show you what that looks like. I'll bring my sanding machine out and I'll show you how easy that is for sanding. It's connected to a vacuum that picks up the drywall dust. So like 97% of the dust is gathered into the vacuum into a bag, and you just throw the bag away when you're done, and it makes it for a nice clean job. So anyway, I wanted to show you another tool that I use. Is this one. And this was originally invented, called a roto zip. And this one has an extension on it, so it makes it handy. I can hook this onto my belt, so it's right on my side. And then this little tool right here, the little wand, when you want to cut out around a box, an electrical box, what I do is like here, before I put the drywall up, I measured from here into the box was 3 7/8. So at 3 7/8, I came over and I stuck the tool in there, fired it up, and went around the box, the outside of the box, and then the drywall sucks right into the wall. Now it doesn't look like it's a perfect cut. That's no big deal because the cover plate will cover all of that. But I always put a little mud in there and tape over it anyway. Just for a neater job, and I don't like air leaks. And I've already foamed around the back of my boxes so no air leaks can come in through the electrical boxes. And there's another one I did down there. There's another one I did over there, and then I used it to cut around the conduit there that the laundry comes through and runs into that next box. So I did set it up in case I ever did put a dryer in here. Or down the line if somebody else put a dryer in here. I'll never use a dryer because they're just, I don't like them. They're a waste of money. I'd rather hang my clothes outside and let them air dry. And what do I do if it's I got to do laundry and it's not a good day to hang clothes outside? Well, you see that rope above the window there on the hook? I have another hook that goes above this window right here, and I bring that rope across and I just hang the clothes indoors here. And I can open this window and that window and let them air dry. Cool, huh? All right, everybody. That's all I have for today. Let's see. I'm going to make sure. Oh, yeah. We had a threat of thunderstorms and lightning and high winds of 60 plus miles an hour. Well, they all went to the east, never came over here, but the humidity was up, and I sweated a little bit today. So I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to shut this video down. I'm going to look forward to seeing you guys giving me a thumbs up down there and leaving comments. I'll answer your comments and your questions. Thank you for following me and staying as subscribers for all this time. I really appreciate that. And in the meantime, I'm going to shut down, get a beer, and then make myself some dinner. While the dinner is cooking, I'll run in and take a nice shower and get all this drywall dust off me. That's G Bear signing off.